Ademola Lookman made history when his sensational hat-trick gave Atalanta their very first ever Europa League Cup. Now, the reactions have been interesting, from some people feeling very upset that Lukman thanked Nigerians and Nigeria for giving him the opportunity to play international football, which made him an overall better player. Debunking Crouch, a former English player, believes he could have played for England if he had been patient. Oh, guys, I'm sorry for the laughter. So therefore, it was basically insinuating that Ademola chose a lesser team or a lesser country because of impatience. Olise, Dele Ali, Tomori, Tammy Abraham, Chukwuemeka, Noni Madweke, and many more that have been patient. What have you done with them? Honestly, I think this is very rich coming from Mr. Crouch. It is the audacity for me, especially when you consider the fact that the English team has done or won nothing that is worthy of note for at least the past 10 years now. Or is it how the Nigerians who have decided to wait for England are still waiting as we speak? You know, some of them retired in the process of waiting. Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Ademola Lookman made history when his sensational hat-trick gave Atalanta their very first ever Europa League Cup. Lookman stole the headlines by hitting a hat-trick for the Italian side, ending the unbeaten run of the Germans in all competitions this season. Born in England to parents of Nigerian descent, he represented England at various youth levels and even won the U20 World Cup and the U20 team. But in 2021, he decided to switch his nationality to the senior national team of Nigeria. Ademola has now made history, becoming the first ever player to score a hat-trick in a Europa League final. Now, for those of us like me who never even heard of what a hat-trick is before now, a hat-trick is when a player scores 3 goals in one game. Now, the reactions have been interesting, you know, from people really coming out to say this is, you know, one in a century experience, from his coach really talking about how proud he is of Ademola, to, you know, other less interesting, or should I say interesting in a really funny way, reactions. From the English striker Peter Crouch, saying that Lukman should have been patient and wait to be selected by England instead of playing for Nigeria. To some feeling very upset because Lukman thanked Nigeria and Nigerians rather than the UK for giving him the opportunity to play international football and for showing him so much love and support. The reactions have been hilarious. Now, trust Nigerians to come for these people with no mercy. Before we take a deep dive, let's see more on Lukman's performance.
Back from his Prem downfall, Ademola Lookman's start to professional football began at Charlton Athletic, right next to where he was brought up. But his impressive start there earned him a move to Everton, where it didn't quite work out for him. So after 2 years, he moved on to Leipzig in Germany, and in his 3 years there, he was loaned out for 2 years of it, 1 year at Fulham and 1 year at Leicester. And although he constantly showed promise, he could never quite do enough to really establish himself in the team. Not in any of his 3 Premier League clubs, and not at Leipzig either. That is until he moved to Atalanta, where he scored on his debut and showed the fans a glimpse of what was to come. In his 2 seasons there, he scored 15 in each, while he never reached double digits in any of his last seasons. And in the Europa League final versus the unbeaten Leverkusen side, he put on a memorable performance full of flair and confidence, as he bagged himself a hat-trick to become one of only 6 players to do so in a European final, with his manager Gasperini saying that he achieved something which will remain in the annals of football history.
Ademola Lookman is the best African footballer this season. There is absolutely nothing anyone else can tell me. Look at how he single-handedly won the Europa League for Atalanta. It was something that was mesmerizing. I sat in front of my screen watching his excellent performance and I was just short of words. Ademola Lookman became the first to get an Europa League final hat-trick in history. This hat-trick was so beautiful. All the goals in the hat-trick were amazing. This hat-trick was enough to earn Bayer Leverkusen their first ever loss this season. This hat-trick was enough to bring the first European trophy to the Atalanta club. This hat-trick was enough to bring the first trophy of Gian Piero Gasperini's managerial career. See, Ademola Lookman has written his name in the history books of the Europa League competition, the history books of the Atalanta club, and the history books of Gian Piero Gasperini. There is nothing anybody else can tell me. Again, Ademola Lookman is the best African footballer this season. No argument.
How grateful are you to Nigeria for giving you the opportunity to play international football?
The support and the love I get back home from our people is unbelievable. It gives me the motivation to try to inspire myself and try to evolve in different areas of myself, not just in my game, just me as a person also. That's taken me to a new level. Obviously competing in Afcon, unfortunately we lost in the final, but that whole tournament, it catapulted us as the Super Eagles back again, and we have the support from back home, so you know, that's incredible.
Now, we know that Ademola was phenomenal during AFCON as well. It was one of the main stars of the team. In fact, Nigeria only advanced to the quarterfinals because of the 2 goals he scored against Cameroon. So it's not that much of a surprise that he's made such a phenomenal record. And a lot of Nigerians have said that his performance and the experience with the Super Eagles, his fellow teammates during AFCON, and the response and support of Nigerians really helped to boost his morale and made him an overall better player. And Ademola himself has admitted to this. However, Peter Crouch, a former English player, believes he could have played for England if he had been patient. Oh, guys, I'm sorry for the laughter. Guys, I'm sorry for the laughter. Or, in fact, I'm not sorry because this Peter Crouch is a joker. So it says Ademola should have been patient and he would have played for England. I think we need to ask what some people think about this. Like, you know, like Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, and the rest of them. I think we need to ask what they think about this, because you know they are still waiting to be picked up by England as we speak. So we are going to talk more on them later. Anyway, in his words, Peter Crouch's words, this is what he said. Okay, so it says Crouch suggesting that Lukman should have waited for an England call-up instead of opting to represent Nigeria. He said he could have easily played for England like his U20 teammates if he was patient, Crouch told TNT. So therefore, it was basically insinuating that Ademola chose a lesser team or a lesser country because of impatience. Honestly, I think this is very rich coming from Mr. Crouch. It is the audacity for me, especially when you consider the fact that the English team has done or won nothing that is worthy of note for at least the past 10 years now. Or is it how the Nigerians who have decided to wait for England are still waiting as we speak? You know, some of them retired in the process of waiting. Anyways, let's see how some Nigerians responded to Peter Crouch's dumb statement, for lack of a better word, and then we'll now come back and really, you know, see more on those Nigerians that decided to wait for England and how they are faring right now. This person said, the same England that has been living on its coming home and vibes, their trophy cabinet should be full of cobwebs by now. At least Lukman can still win Afcon with Nigeria. Peter Crouch should get out. Lukman will win a trophy with Nigeria, while the rest of them would only win a trophy in their dreams. England is really not worth playing for. Asking where did they keep Tammy Abraham? Good question. Shut up. If Nigeria didn't give him the opportunity by calling him up, he would never play international football because England would never give him a chance. Just ask Tosin Adarabioyo how his wait for England is going so far. Olise, Dele Ali, Tomori, Tammy Abraham, Chukwuemeka, Noni Madueke, and many more that have been patient. What have you done with them? Gabriel Agbonlahon was another player who turned down Nigeria while perhaps waiting for England. What happened? I'm sure he's regretting it. What some of these players don't realize is that a country like England will give you a couple of games which will render you ineligible to play for any other country, then dump you. They only get pained when they see all those overlooked players doing well when they decided to represent their African countries. Crouch is talking nonsense. Lukman was written off by Premier League teams despite good displays and goals. They mainly used him as a substitute. His confidence was so damaged that he rightly decided to move to Germany. His career and confidence did not take off until he joined the Nigerian team. His arrival at Atalanta coincided with his decision to play for Nigeria. His first Nigeria match was WCQ against Ghana, where he was responsible for the equalizing penalty decision against Ghana and almost provided a match-winning assist with a pass to Osimhen that resulted in a VAR disallowed goal. He was allowed more flexibility in the Nigerian team, while Premier League clubs tried to use him as an out-and-out winger. Nigeria's coach Peseiro saw his value as an inverted winger, which is where he is most dangerous. He says it himself. Nigeria gave him the confidence he was lacking that has turned him from a journeyman footballer to a prospective star. Now, guys, I found a great article that was written by Today Young for Pulse on, players that waited, turned down Nigeria to represent England, and let me just share it with you guys because it was truly impressive. Says the grass is rarely greener than the green and white. Tomori and Abraham are the latest Anglo-Nigerians to find out that picking England over Nigeria does not necessarily end well, even though it always seems like the right decision at the time. John Fashanu was among the first to find out, having opted for England over Nigeria in his prime years, only to feature in 2 games, and has been wailing about his regret to anyone who would listen ever since. Gabriel Agbolahan also went that route and was only good for 3 games despite enjoying a reasonably successful career spanning 12 years, and that's why I had to resign at the age of 32 unfulfilled. Unfortunately, I am the one adding that. It's not in the article. Continuation says John Salako, Ugo Ehiogo, Carlton Cole, Dele Ali, Jordan Ibe are some notable examples of players who went into international limbo after choosing to represent England over Nigeria. With that wealth of examples, it was surprising that both Abraham and Tomori chose to represent England where the odds are stacked against them. Even more ironically, they were both invited to the English national team for the first time along with Bukayo Saka on October 1st, 2019, Nigeria's 59th Independence Day. As unappealing as the Nigerian football scene may seem compared to England, it has been statistically proven that players are more likely to be successful with the Super Eagles than the 3 Lions. Alex Iwobi, Victor Moses, Dixon Etuhu, Seyi Olofinjano, Danny Shitu, Semi Ajayi, and Ademola Lookman are among the more notable players who realized that early enough. Tomori and Abraham have already turned down first-class Nigerian citizenship to be second-class citizens of England, but it's more imperative for other players in similar situations to not make the same mistake. Players like Eberechi Eze, Michael Olise, Tosin Adarabioyo, etc. are all faced with that dilemma, but perhaps they will learn through Tammy Abraham and Fikayo Tomori that Nigeria is a better national team destination than England. Unfortunately, this article was written in 2019, so Tosin Adarabioyo and Michael Olise unfortunately decided to go that route, and it's not turning out very well, unfortunately. I think they should have maybe read this article. Maybe they didn't see this article at the time. Imagine turning down your country of origin only to be left out of the World Cup lineup. Just imagine. And this is not because you are not good. This is obviously, preferential bias. I remember seeing an article on Sports Brief where Tammy Abraham was saying, yes, Nigeria did try to roll out the red carpet and it was flattering, but I was pretty set on England. I see myself as a long-term England player. That is where my main focus is, and I'm 100% focused on trying to get into that team. Unfortunately, the team or the ones who are in charge of picking were not focused on you, Tammy. That is the irony, isn't it? That Nigeria rolled out the red carpet. They gave him VIP treatment, but he was not interested in that. Just as Tunde Young said in that article, he preferred to be treated as second-class citizen on the English team. and to not even be selected for the World Cup after saying something like this is truly, I don't know the English is failing me right now, and to those who are pained that Ademola Lookman came out to thank Nigeria and Nigerians, for giving him opportunity to play an international football, for showing him incredible support, for boosting his morale, for making him, for recovering the self-confidence that had been battered during all the times I was playing on all these other clubs and teams. Nigerians have a reply for you. Imagine this ignorant comment. British accent raised in the UK, giving opportunities by UK. Thanks Nigeria, make it make sense. I think we need you to make your comment make sense, because it's a very foolish comment. Nigeria was the one who gave him the opportunity to play an international game, not the UK. Nigerians are the ones who supported him wholeheartedly, not the British citizens, okay? It was the Nigerian Super Eagles team that formed a bond of friendship and brotherhood with that will last him a lifetime, not the British team. So again, please make your comment make sense. Let me read some of people's replies to this as well. Ademola Lookman's football changed ever since he got loved by his home country fans. I remember before the Afcon when Lagos State Governor kept asking for Ademola Lookman. The love and support was just massive from home, and it transformed him. Ademola Lookman says playing for Super Eagles has elevated him, even improves his game. And yes, if you listen to that speech again, that was exactly what he said, that it has motivated him to just be a better, not just better player, but a better person overall. Anyways, we know for a fact that the English team, or the English or the British, whatever, they are just pained now that they let this potential go. They are just pained that is this what we're sitting on? Is this what we're sitting on? They're probably throwing chairs at each other indoors. Like, why did you tell me you had somebody like this? Why did you do that? Yeah, they did not see him, because of course, it's not, unfortunately, non-British citizens have to work twice as hard, have to prove themselves, maybe even 100 times as much as the homegrown, British born and British blood citizens to be considered for the same position, unfortunately. So they let this one go, they missed it, and we are thankful that we have him in Nigeria. Hopefully the other ones learn before it's too late for them. They learn from the other ones that have made the same mistake, and they are, some of them can never come out now to show that they are regretting, obviously. Some of them have regretted openly, some of them are regretting secretly. But let's hope that they learn, because no place like home, honestly, and you would never get as much support as you will get from home. That is just the fact. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you guys so much. Bye guys.